Hello, this is Capricorntigress from Astrology, A Look Inside, and I'm coming to you today. Today is May 9th, 2018, and I'm hoping that when I make this recording that you can hear me, because I made another one yesterday and I could barely hear myself on that. And also, I'm not sure, what's my good side right now, because all my flaws are showing right at this moment. So I wanted to come to you because, well, look at me. Today I am in a light blonde wig and sporting, this whatever I'm doing, the part of the mask that I'm wearing, and part of that Neptune that's been really affecting my life. Neptune is really affecting my life, because Neptune by birth is right on the top of my chart. It is at the very pinnacle of my midheaven, right on it. And the crazy thing is that it opposes my natal moon. So if you are someone who has a Neptune moon opposition, which by the way is supposedly one of the craziest oppositions of all. So imagine having it on the angle, the public and home life angle. It would cause you to do crazy things like wear white blonde wigs when you're a brown person. Very much so. And that Neptune is actually square Saturn in the first house. So there's some activation going on there. There's activity going on between that crazy Neptune up at the top of the chart and Saturn in the first house. Saturn in the first house always is indicative of someone who has self-esteem issues. Anyone with Saturn in the first house either actually appears to be different or unusual, especially in my case it's an Aquarius. So whoa, what a different persona that is, right? But Saturn in the first house it causes something debilitating. Usually there's a limp, maybe there was an accident or something, and you injured yourself, so there's always that fear of injury. Depending on what sign it is in the first house will depend on where the injury is. Like for instance, Saturn in the first house in an Aries, head. It's going to happen in your head, something. You might actually physically be so debilitating, something, happen to your face, your head. And something your ego too, because Saturn on Aries rules ego, and of course the first house itself then represents ego, and Saturn there is a really wounded ego, reserved, cautious, maybe striking out because it's hurt. That's Saturn in Aries is in its fall. It's not, Saturn does not like being in Aries. That is not a good place. So if you have Saturn in Aries in the first house, call me. We need to talk, y'all. Anyway, Saturn in Taurus. Saturn in Taurus in the first house. How would that really come out? Now, Saturn in Taurus, I would think, is going to, because Saturn, Taurus is, that's Venus ruled. So Taurus is like food and pleasure and beauty and music and they just enjoy themselves. They're sensual, like touching and feeling and eating and drinking and having a good time. So if Saturn was there, it would really pull that from that personality. Like they wouldn't want to have a good time. I just thought of mud, because Earth rules Taurus, and a heavy, hard, like hard mud, hard earth, you know, that's not good. Usually Taurus is on the rise, or Taurus is in the first house, are usually beautiful. Because Taurus in the first house is almost akin to having Venus in the first house. But if you have Saturn there, that means it's going to affect your beauty in some way. And your ability to have pleasure, you know, stuff like that. Well, I can see maybe your libido might be a little messed up. Something like that, you know. It's not a good place for Saturn either. Although it probably gets along with Taurus better than it did with Aries. Okay, next would be Gemini. Saturn and Gemini in the first house. I knew a Saturn in Gemini, didn't I? No, I think he had Saturn in Scorpio. Anyway, Saturn in Gemini, that right away I think that person has a hard time communicating, because Geminis are glib. They like to talk. Matter of fact, my daughter has Gemini rising, and me and her husband just said yesterday, when I guess, because she's a triple threat Virgo. She's got her sun, moon, and Mercury on top of each other in the 5th house, so she loves communicating all that intelligence. And I said, when I think about her, I just think of a bullhorn. That's all. Her rising sign is a bullhorn. Oh, and she's out talking. I mean, she's a politician now. I mean, she's talking to the community out there, just spreading her truth, because she got Saturn in Sagittarius. But anyway, that's the bullhorn. You know, Geminis like to talk. They are the talkers. So you got that on the first house. That's what you should appear to be doing. But if you got Saturn on top of that, if you got Saturn in Gemini on the first house, you are quiet. And you're thinking all kinds of stuff, though. No, it's not that you're stupid. People might even think you're stupid, but you're not stupid. You are smart. And you just keep to, you're quiet. You might be sneaky, because that's how quiet you are. You're going to hold back some of that information. Or it could go the opposite way, because I have this weird thing in my chart with Saturn being conjoined Mercury. But it's in Aquarius, right? So Saturn conjoined Mercury in the first house always indicates some type of, like I said, debilitation. In my case, debilitation with speech. And when I was a little girl, I was raised by a Puerto Rican man and my mother. The formative years, like, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. So when I started learning how to really communicate, and you might even be able to pick it up even after all the training, but imagine this Afro-Latina girl with a really thick accent from Jersey. So the Jersey accent's there, the Puerto Rican accent's there, and I had some type of Cindy Brady-ish. So when I used to talk, and I can do it at will, by the way. When I used to talk like this all the time. Nobody knew what I was talking about. I was talking all the time about that all the time, and people were like, what the hell is she talking about? They didn't understand with me. But I had to go to speak to them, and that's how I learned how to talk. See? Now I talk perfectly, like maybe I'm I was a disc jockey. And that's what I'm saying. When you have Saturn somewhere, it makes you work harder. You work harder at that than normal people. Normal person would have just given up and said, no, but my mom used to slap me, by the way. There was a point my mom used to slap. Every time I said a Spanish word, if I said helado for ice cream, psh, agua for water, pow. Leche for milk, pow. If I made that mistake. Because back then, my mother believed that if you were dark, like and you were speaking Spanish, you were hiding. And I probably would have hidden, because I've got Neptune on the 12th, or on the 10th house. But my Uncle Henry was someone who wouldn't speak English, and he was not employable. And so at that time, it was a hindrance to not speak English. And she made that the priority for me. Like, she was determined I was not going to be a failure, and that I would learn how to speak proper English, and not Spanglish, and that I would speak properly. So I went to speech therapy, and I had to learn how to speak, where to place my tongue, and to be consciously aware of every word that is coming out of my mouth. Otherwise, I would talk like this all the time, and you would not understand what I'm talking about. See? Okay. That's Saturn. So if you got Saturn in Gemini, you're going to work hard at that. You might have autism. You might have something else. You might have been born with Down syndrome or something. But you'll learn how to overcome that, because that's what Saturn does. It makes you work hard at that thing, whatever that is. And if you're able to overcome it, you'll become one of the best communicators ever. That's what Saturn does. Saturn in Cancer in the first house. Wow. That's a cold person right there. Because they should be out having fun, partying. Cancer in the first house loves to party and get drunk. They do. My daughter has it in the first house too, and that child is always cocktailing somewhere. And she don't just, get drunk like, but she's cocktailing. They are public people. Cancer rules publicity and doing, getting publicity. And sure enough, that child's always on the news and stuff. But yeah, imagine though, all of that nurturing them, wanting to go out and party with your friends, and suddenly that's pulled away because Saturn's there. So all that gregariousness, gone. That desire to, go out and hug everybody, let's be friends, gone. Saturn would pull that away. You would have to work very hard at being a sociable person, or I could see you maybe overdoing it. So, be cautious with that too, because that would definitely not lead to anything well if you're not following. If you don't follow Saturn, it's always a problem, because Saturn is there to teach the lesson, whatever the lesson is. It's important to follow it. So, that would be interesting. Reading books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, stuff like that. Couldn't hurt. Saturn in Leo in the first house. Well, first of all, you got Leo in the first house. Ooh. Ooh. That means you really want attention. You really do. And when I see Saturn sitting up there like that, you ain't got that attention you wanted. And I almost want to cry for you. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you did not get that attention, child. Because someone should have loved you. Like, probably with Saturn in the first house, you didn't even have a dad. Or your dad left early, or it's just something confusing about your dad. And, I don't know, it might have been one of those situations where the lion and the cub, mom had to run off with the child to save the child's life. I don't know why I always see storylines when I think about stuff. But I'm just saying, Saturn and Leo, first of all, it's affecting Leo. Leo rules all the fun and joy and feeling good about your ego and yourself and your persona. And Saturn on top of that, Saturn's messing stuff up when it's on top of Leo. It don't belong there. So, I think your thing in life would be to find a good partner. Because you would be, I think, very responsible. And you would need a crazy partner, hopefully Aquarius, that will help you to love yourself, finally. That's what I would recommend for someone with Saturn Leo in the first house, because that need for attention, and it not being requited, isn't that painful? Just thinking about it. It's a shame. Why is this music popped up in the background loud like this? Did you hear this mess? Hold on, let me fix this. I want you to hear me, and my voice is not. I got this down to almost as low as I can get it. Wait. Why is that so loud? Oh, Lord, no, have mercy, Jesus. Is that still too loud? I don't need no music. Okay. I'm sorry. I do have Scorpio in the 10th house and Saturn in the first, in Capricorn rising. I am so real. Just bear with me. I like wearing my little crazy mask. Like, I love glamour. I've got Venus in the 10th house and Neptune on the midheaven. I want to create an image. I made video about that already. So, you know, if you're looking at me like, why is that woman got that blonde wig on? Because that's me. And again, I've got Saturn in the first house. Wherever Saturn is, it makes you work harder in that area. You work harder at that than anywhere else in your life. And so that's why I'm talking about Saturn and how it affects the different signs in the first house. But in my case, it was Aquarius. I never felt normal. And it was in my first house. But I'm going to get to that. We'll get to Aquarius. Anyway, so we were at Leo and now we're at Virgo. Virgo in the first house is a critical place for it to be in the first place. My mom had Virgo in the first house. Oh, bless her little soul. She had Jupiter there, so she was smart. But yeah, it's Virgo in the first house is a little critical. They nag a little bit, don't they? They love to nag. But put Saturn there, and man, that is what you call some real mud. That's sloppy mud. That's a wet blanket. Ugh. You know, you could be a very, very good communicator, though, because you would work hard at all that Virgo and stuff, just like I said about Gemini. And you probably would maybe even work as a teacher or something like that, or work in a hospital or something like that. Maybe. But what I would say is to work on the critical part of you, because there is no way you're not critical, you know. There might be that you hold things in instead of nagging, you are imploding. And that is not good. Yeah, because Virgos are very critical and analytical and rational, and they like to think and study and learn, but they like to be wise because they want to know the truth and they want to know it right. Like, they want the right truth. They're not just trying to be smart to be smart. They're trying to learn information so they can be right, so they can know the truth and do things perfectly. They don't like to mess things up or do things half-stepping. And if you're not doing it right, well, Virgos will let you know if you're not doing it right as well. So that's because they're critical and they're analytical and they see it. And they can't let that pass. If you're not doing something right, they will let you know. My cousin tried to read me the other day, and I forgive her because she was right. You know what I mean? When people are right, how you gonna be mad at them? Can't be mad at them because they're right. I mean, it might be wrong that, you know, she felt a need to say it, but the way, you know, she's right. I wear a mask. I live in a bubble. I do. My coming out of my bubble and my shell and whatever is making videos, and hopefully someone will watch them. If not, they'll just sit on YouTube forever or on my page or wherever I put them. But I enjoy talking about these things. But anyway, Virgo in the first house with Saturn. Ooh, like I said, just critical. Watch that. A tendency to be critical. Or worse yet, wouldn't that be horrible if people were critical on you? Because, you know, it's Saturn at the first house is you, your persona. You might come off that way, or it might even be, reflecting it, or so you're getting it back. Oh, child, we might need to talk too if you've got that. Okay? Okay, Saturn in the first house in Libra. Well, first of all, that's not a good place for Saturn to be, because Libra is a fun-loving a sign, and it is ruled by Venus, which is a pleasurable planet. And to think that Saturn would just take away all that happiness and beauty and pleasure, and it's sad because I see that person struggling maybe to get into the right relationship with the right husband, or When I see Saturn in Libra in the first house, I see someone going, well, why can't I get married? I'm 42 years old. I'm beautiful. Why? What is it? What is it about me? That's Saturn in Libra in the first house. There's nothing wrong with you, honey. Nothing. And it's just probably going to come down to owning your own inner beauty and letting that all out and feeling free when you're in a relationship or feeling worthy of a relationship. We might need to talk to, Saturn in Libra is not in it's squaring its own home of Capricorn. It's not happy in Libra. And it could cause some problems with relationships because Libra is always real relationships and then Saturn or lack thereof. So, yeah. A romance reading might be a good idea if you've got that. Saturn in Scorpio. Saturn in Scorpio in the first house. Oh, man. Saturn in Scorpio. Well, first of all, that fool is jealous. And insecure. And let's hope he ain't beating you behind. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I thought about a guy who loses. Saturn and Scorpio ain't nothing nice, okay? They can be some mean people. Probably worse if Saturn's up in the 10th house, because they are extra mean. But, ooh, Saturn in that first house, that means they're coming out in the persona. So people can see that evil. That's that person sitting up there all in the cut like this. Rolling their eyes. They don't even know you. That's Saturn in Scorpio. In the first house. They so dark and evil. All plotting your demise. They don't even know you. They just mad because you look better. Because they jealous. Y'all need Jesus. Saturn and Scorpio in the first house ain't nothing nice. I think about gangsters and stuff. What's their occupation? Wait a minute. What? Saturn, what they work hard at being bad. They work hard at being dark, man. That's what I'm just saying. Be careful if you got that. I hope you alright. I hope you ain't doing nothing crazy. Saturn and Scorpio ain't, But here's a good thing about Scorpio. I love Scorpios because they can either be really, really bad or really, really good. Like, they can really be out there and gregarious and in your face and, stealing a man. Or they could just be like, they are 100. You know what I mean? I know so many keep it 100 Scorpios, I swear. They just keep it real. I love Scorpios. Oh, I don't know why I got into an argument with my brother, but that's because I got Scorpio in the 10th house, and it was just a weird full moon. But I typically love them. I even married one. So, and my father was one. My brother's Scorpio, heavy Scorpio in my family. But Scorpio in that, Saturn there is messing. And you better not be doing any kind of criminal activity, because with Saturn there, your behind's going to get caught. Just want you to know. You're doing something bad, like dealing drugs or something, you better stop. Stop that mess. Anyway, Saturn in Sagittarius. Saturn in Sagittarius in the first house. First of all, Sagittarius in the first house, child. I hope you work out. That's all I'm saying. I hope you work out. And if you don't work out, I run a little website, Dance and Slim Down. Just go to the blog. Music starts. Just start dancing with it. I actually have that music set up in sets. So, when you get there, the music will play for usually 40, 45 minutes. I think they're each 30 to 45 minute sets. So, just go to the blog, let the music play, start dancing. That's what I set it up for people who are Sagittarius. Is Sagittarius rules dance. Thighs, hips, dancing. You got Saturn in your first house, your hips, your thighs, your butt. Probably got a big old butt. Now if you were I don't know why my mind thinks the way it does. But okay. But now if you worked at it, because remember I said Saturn makes you work harder at that area than other places. Then that means you probably were an athlete and you probably got your body tight. You know what I mean? That means that's where you work hard. You work hard on your body. Probably run. Go to the gym. If you ain't doing this, then you ain't doing your Saturn. Because I'm telling you, if you're lazy and you let it go and you're behind is 300-400 pounds, then go to Dance and Slim Down. I lost 300 pounds at Dance and Slim Down. I mean, just dancing to music. That's all I did. Nothing fancy. You don't got to do no routines. You don't got to be a size 5 or something. You have to be in good shape. Just as long as those knees can hold up and those legs, those hips. It's just basic stuff. I don't put you on the floor. Nothing. Just music, child. That's all it is. And, information. And if you want more than that, then you got to pay for it. But I'm just saying. That's there. But if you got Saturn in Sagittarius, you better be working out. I hope you, no matter how old you are, you have to keep those hips and thighs together until you die. And be careful, because I think of an aging person, broken hip, take them out. That's Saturn is nothing nice. You gotta really work where Saturn is. Okay. Saturn in Capricorn in the first house. Well, first of all, Capricorn. I got Capricorn in the first house. I got Saturn in the first house, but that's in the Aquarius. We're coming up to that. But Saturn in Capricorn. Just the way it's even playing out with me. It's just somebody who has struggled with their image, their public image, their reputation. People think you're mean. Everybody think you all evil and stuff. You ain't evil. You might be sad. Probably have suffered from major depression all your life. And you don't know why. You don't know why you get sad. You just start crying sometimes. Life can be hard. And you probably had a hard life. I mean, it wasn't easy. It probably still ain't easy. If you worked hard at it along the way on yourself and on other areas of your life, like gotten an education, married well or whatever, then you might be doing okay. But Saturn, if you've got Saturn in Capricorn at birth, you're having a Saturn return, honey. Because Saturn's just come home to Capricorn for the first time in 28 years. So it's in the first decanty at 8 degrees right now. But that would be touching anyone who has it from 0 to like 18. That's touching a lot of people already. So I hope that whatever lessons that you have been put on this earth to learn, that you've taken the time to learn them, especially as they pertain to your physical self. So if you let yourself go, you haven't been watching your weight, you haven't been walking or exercising or running or whatever, and your knees are bad, you got no one to blame but yourself. And if you're still young enough to prevent that from happening, then get your butt up and set yourself some type of schedule where you work them knees. Capricorn's got to work them knees. I dislocated both my knees with my Capricorn rising and Saturn in the first house. That was no joke. Y'all need to make sure you protect your knees with all you can do. Strengthen them, train, wear knee braces. I mean, protect yourself. If your knees start giving out, use a cane. Don't feel no shame, because you need to be able to keep on moving. And Capricorns need to keep moving. And Saturn will restrict that and keep you, it will mess you up so you can't move. Maybe, I don't know how, but you need to really work hard on that area so you can stay fluid and not harden up. Because I just think of with Saturn and Capricorn, and Saturn in the first house is brittle knees, man, brittle bones, bad teeth, aging skin, all of that. Work on it. You know what I mean? Because that's what I do. Anyway, I've been dying to get to myself the whole time. We're going into Saturn in Aquarius in the first house. Yay! Yes, I get to talk about myself. I get to talk about myself. I get to talk. You guys, you have no idea how long it took me to embrace my insanity. Of the fact that I love attention. I do. I am not even pretending. I do. That I love talking about myself. I love telling all my stories. I love just, you know, working on myself and creating all these little images and wearing all my little wigs and trying to be sexy. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And like I said, I started out so bad, man. Saturn in the first house is always like that. I started out in the gutter. I didn't even know where I belonged in the beginning. I lived with aunts and passed around with family members because my mother couldn't take care of me. And then I said, like I said, it was my mom and Wilfredo who, you know, took care of me. He'll always be my dad because everything I learned as a person, I learned from that Puerto Rican man. So that is my father through and through and through. And after that, when she left him, I ended up, my mom, God, man, my mom was a crazy Leo, which is opposing my first house, Aquarius, Saturn. So whenever my mother had possession of me, she would have boyfriends who tried to rape me. My first time I was raped, I was only 18 months old. 18 months old! That's Saturn in the first house. Okay. Saturn has affected my life from every angle. Saturn not only is in my first house by sign, and you know it's in Aquarius, which it's already like, what's that? What is that? Not dignified, right, or whatever. It's like a co-ruler. But then I have a Capricorn rising and a Capricorn sun on the ascendant within a degree. I don't even have to stop talking. And then the other sign that gets all the attention is the 10th house, where Neptune, the entire second chart ruler, because it's the most elevated planet, right? Neptune sits on the midheaven and the sun sits on the ascendant. They're exactly sextile. Ooh, Lord. Jesus, take the wheel. How I made it to this age, I will never know. I've only did it, I believe this with my whole heart. And bless Saturn, when I was a young girl, 16 years old. If you put the ages together, you'll figure out my age. But anyway, I started studying astrology. When I first started studying astrology, I knew nothing about life at all. Nothing. I began studying astrology with this voracious appetite that has never left me. Mercury is conjoined that Saturn in Aquarius in the first house. I've now come to realize that Aquarius rules astrology. And Mercury, of course, rules learning. And they are in mutual, or Mercury is in mutual interception with Virgo in Uranus in the 8th house. So that desire to understand the deepest, darkest mysteries of the metaphysical and, you know, life through astrology became an integral part of my persona. can't even think about anything without it first making sense to me in astrology. It is just who I am, not something I do. It became who I was. It was my life path. And that is, I hope, because I've got, Saturn will be going back into Aquarius next year. So I'll be experiencing a Saturn return myself in my first house. I hope when it comes that I will be, maybe by that time, a well-respected astrologer. Saturn rules respect. Wherever Saturn falls in your chart is where you are hopefully going to earn a great deal of respect. Now, you know, we've gone through the houses, but I'm sure you'll understand that in my case, with my first house, I have gained a great deal of respect, believe it or not, for my body and who I've become, because I have so many images of me prior to who I'm becoming now. And I was 500 pounds and I was in a wheelchair and I lost 300 pounds and I'm trying to get to 130. So I'm not stopping. And I opened a website called Dance and Slim Down, and Facebook page with like 2,500 people. And that's my theme now. Like, people would think of me and think, oh, that's the woman who lost 300 pounds. That's Saturn in the first house. Okay. That's what you become known and respected for. And now, well, I've gone into astrology, which I believe is actually my ultimate calling. I've tried everything else, y'all. Jack of all trades. You know, that's born on a 5-day, right? Lots of Gemini and Mercury. And the thing that makes my heart sing. Look, I've been talking over almost 40 minutes now. Astrology. I can just ramble on all day because it is a part of my persona. So anyway, just know wherever Saturn falls is where you're respected, or you should, hopefully, if you work at it, gain respect. Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces. When I think about Saturn in Pisces, I'm like, wow, Saturn's finally gotten to the last place it needs to be. Now, I happen to know a Saturn in Pisces, and I'll always love her. But she don't talk to me no more. Don't talk to me. I have several people that don't talk to me. And it probably has a lot to do with the mutual interception I discussed a second ago between Virgo and Aquarius in the first house. Virgo, Uranus, Aquarius, Mercury. That means anything could come out of my mouth at any time. And I have been known to curse people out many times. Plenty often. I am real, and that is something that happens. Miscommunication and crazy communication. And I thought about that because Pisces is opposite that Uranus in Virgo. And there most likely was some miscommunication. In this case, I know this had to do with money. I owed her $300. I was poor. By the time I got the money, she was already mad and said, no, don't send it. And she had moved and I didn't even know where to send it. So I didn't send it. And after that, we never talked ever again. Really. And I still love her. I've lost so many friends from stupid stuff like that. And I still love them. I love all my friends and family. There's no one that I harbor any ill will to, really. Maybe hurt or disappointment. But I don't got time. I got My mind flits from one thing to the other anyway. I just don't have time to worry about that. And the one thing, a reason I'm saying this to you, Pisces, in Saturn Pisces people, is y'all will hold on to a hurt until it cries. Lord. You mad about something right now. You mad at somebody right now. That person probably don't even know you mad at them. And the argument happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. And you ain't talked to that person since then. And you know you ain't. That is Saturn and Pisces. Man, they will hold on to a pain or hurt until it cries uncle. Let that pain go. Let that hurt go. Stop those stop crying. I'm such a Saturn. Stop those tears. I know you're crying. You've been crying for 20 years. Let it go. I don't know what the man did to you, but he did it. You should have moved on and got married by now. Stop it. Stop. Now, Neptune is in Pisces transiting right now. And that Neptune might be hitting on that Saturn if you got Pisces in Saturn. So I'm thinking, and Jupiter would be trying, most likely because it's right in the middle of Scorpio. Let it go. Get some therapy if you have not. If you got a pain and it's more than a year old, girl, boy, get a therapist. Let that go. And stop drinking. You shouldn't drink. And you shouldn't be getting high either. But if you got that pain in your heart, And the thing is, if you're holding on to old pain like that, especially inside your body, because Neptune, or excuse me, Pisces rules what? Feet. So I would think how it would play out and affect your feet with Saturn is that you done cried in your drink for years, not taking care of yourself, probably got diabetes, eating candies and stuff, and now your feet's messed up. You ain't even been paying attention to your feet. They're all black and crusty. You need to go to a podiatrist or find out if you got diabetes, and if you do, make sure you get your feet taken care of. You should not ever play around with your feet if you got Saturn in Pisces. Lord, and stop wearing heels if you can't pull it off no more, and if you got corns and stuff. If you got anything going on with your feet, you better take them heels off and start wearing flats and go see a podiatrist and stop eating candy and stuff, because you know it can lead to diabetes. And that's something you don't need if you got Saturn in Pisces, because that's going to affect your actual physical body. So, I mean, I don't mean to preach. I'm sorry. My first reaction is like, Lord, protect them feet, y'all. Hope you doing foot exercises and everything. You might get all kind of cramps in your foot and stuff. I don't know. Just take care of yourself. Anyway, I'm sorry, because I just thought about Saturn and Pisces with Neptune transiting it, and all I just thought of is somebody all crying in their drink, all delusional, thinking about the relationship they lost like back in 1985 and stuff. Like, nah, no, you're not. You're not doing that. You need to stop. Okay, stop. Okay, I'm sorry. I have too much fun with these things, I'm telling you. So anyway, that was Adrian's take, Capricorntigress take on Saturn through the houses. Now, you might not hear it like that nowhere else, but that's my take on Saturn through the houses, okay? Because, we're in the first house. Saturn through the first house. That's Saturn through the first house through the signs. That's what that was. Saturn through the first house through the signs. So, you know, I don't know if any of that resonated with anybody who sees this video. But if it does, please say something to let me know. Because, I mean, sometimes I'm just thinking this stuff off the top of my head. Because this is what comes to me sometimes. I see these aspects and I'm like, wait a minute. Girlfriend, boyfriend got this going on in life because of this or whatever. And sometimes, you know, it doesn't always manifest that way, but I'm thinking, oh, sometimes it does. So that maybe that information needed, I felt a need to say what I needed to say there. So maybe that's meant for somebody that is out here and will listen or hear this video, because, you know, protect yourselves, you guys. You know, protect yourselves. You know, when it comes to Saturn, you need to, Saturn is where you have to be extra cautious. Caution, protection. And it's what you have to work at harder. You got to work there harder than anywhere else. It's in the first house. You got to work hard on yourself. And some of those issues that I talked about, you know, I joked about it, but it's still yourself. It's still that inner in stuff, you know, there's not so much the stuff going on outside of you when it's in the first house. It's the stuff going on with you. So remember that, okay? Anyway, this was Adrian Igo, also known as Capricorntigress, with Astrology, a look inside. And if you have not, please come to Astrology, a look inside. I have a sign up there so that you can sign up for my newsletter, which I'm still working on. So you might not get anything right away. I'm still working on it. But anyway, I got my blog there, and you can order. I've got an order page there. And I just thought about something. I'm going to add a special PayPal button, because some people, when they order online, only use PayPal, and the credit card company that I chose doesn't have a PayPal there. I didn't even realize it. So I do have PayPal, and I do have a PayPal button. So you can either contact me directly at astrology, a look inside at gmail.com and say, hey, Capricorntigress, I couldn't get the order because I need to use PayPal. Or I could do it that way. Or I will try to set up a page, or, you know, a special area section on the website for PayPal users. I'll do that. Okay. Also, you can find Astrology, a look inside on Facebook at facebook.com/Astrology, a look inside, our new page. I'm so proud. We got that. And we got our group, which is facebook.com/groups/Astrology, a look inside. So that is it for today, May 9th, 2018. I might do something else tomorrow. I don't know. I just wanted to show off my blonde hair. You know, every day I'm going to probably do something different. So prepare for that. Anyway, everyone, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.